Hello, everyone. Thank you all for joining our webinar today. My name is Tom Alexander, and I'm the Global Vice President of Marketing with Zephyr. Before we get started with the webinar, I wanted to cover a few housekeeping items. Today's presentation will run approximately 15 minutes. So with that, I look forward to getting started with my colleague and our featured presenter today, Dr. Milan Verma. Milan is a test management and automation expert with 15 years of experience consulting to literally hundreds and hundreds of corporations. Milan has provided services to large enterprise organizations as a software consultant at HP and BMC, and has undertaken software development work for companies both big and small across Europe while working for Automation Logic. Prior to working as a software consultant, Milan was a research assistant and lecturer, and he provided visual attention consultancy to U.S. government subsidiaries. He has published articles in high-ranking scientific journals, has referenced white papers, and holds a PhD in artificial intelligence and automation. Currently, Milan is the lead client services engineer across all of EMEA, and with that, it's my pleasure to turn the table over to Milan. Thank you.
Thank you. Our mission here is essentially to save you time. There are many, many ways that we can do that. There are loads of efficiencies that can be provided through software. Our aim here is to talk about how test management can be used as a way of saving time for you, so that you can start focusing on other elements of your software development lifecycle, like perhaps innovating, perhaps building more products and capabilities and more services and getting them out of the door into market as quickly as possible. So that's our sole purpose, saving you time. Now, you'll see from the numbers over here, we've done a pretty good job at doing that. We've been able to work with very large customers, very small ones as well. We've been able to provide our tool set to a very large global audience as well, across 100 different countries. And our aim and our goal has always been to help provide capabilities and help companies grow and help companies evolve as well. How do we do this? The way that we're outlining today is essentially to help save time, so that when you're building out software, you're releasing it, you're deploying it, and then maintaining it, you can save on the time of doing that. You can improve the pipeline so that not only can you do more, but you can do things simultaneously as well. So we've certainly helped loads of customers, both small and large, with this continuous testing agility approach. So, of course, we automate, and that's a kind of precondition for doing that. You've got to be able to speed up the process, and you can't. It's not just a question of taking certain files and moving them from environment to environment, but it's also making sure that you can work with the binaries, configuration files, the setup, the environment, pull up and pull down, so that you can shift from one particular environment to the other in order to get your software out. So, in order to do or achieve this continuous software delivery approach, you've got to be agile. You've got to have this continuous testing agility in place. And both of these work in lockstep. Now, the way that we are helping facilitate this is through a four-step process. First, we get agile. We start changing the testing processes. We work with the tools that facilitate that agile way of working, be it Jira or be it any other agile-oriented framework that helps make you get through your software development process quicker, but also work in a more collaborative manner. Second, it's gaining efficiencies in your process through automation. Then, as a precondition of DevOps, once you've got your automation in place, making sure the collaboration between development and operations as well as test teams is fused together. And once we've done all of that, providing the facilities to be able to analyze this respective data and do something with it, whether it be analysis for the purpose of decision support, as can be done with our predictive analytics capability, or whether it's just graphing or reporting for executives or any other layer of the testing process. So it makes sense to start speaking about the qualities of HP ALM. There have been, over the last few years, many advantages of working with ALM. It's certainly got the capabilities to deliver test management capabilities at scale, both deployment-wise, but also feature-wise as well. All of the features and capabilities sought by a large enterprise organization have been met. The need for secure fields and secure data, especially now with GDPR here, but also the configuration capabilities and authentication capabilities as well, not just the ability to tweak fields available for a particular project, but also how you actually authenticate and start using your application as well. We have also found along the way that a lot of these projects we see in HP ALM or HPQC are traditionally waterfall-based projects. Those that have been in a more agile fashion have been those that have suffered from the need to connect with Jira and, again, other agile-oriented software using bridges, so that you can pass requirements or defects data back and forth, but that's been at the cost of syncing or bridging, and therefore managing that third-party bridge or third-party built software. Even in some cases, we've even seen individuals assigned full-time responsibilities to take data from one source and provide it and push it into another source. They literally come in, on a working day, and all they do is pass data from Jira to HP ALM and vice versa as well. And of course, it's had good tight integrations with the other HP suite as well. The ability to work with ITSM solutions and automation solutions and asset management capabilities, time management and project management software as well, PPM. So these are the benefits. This is what we've seen. This is how or why HP ALM has been so successful in being deeply entrenched into some very, very large organizations and the ability for it to work at scale. The issues that we've faced are almost the opposite. They've been around trying to incorporate the more modern ways of testing. As we've seen automation tools and agile focused tools appear on the market, the need to integrate with those, not just the capabilities to integrate with the HP toolset, but other toolsets, even open source ones, certainly has been high up on the agenda for these organizations. And traditionally, it used to be the case where the most innovative and the most daring of organizations were the smaller ones, but that's changed now. Even the larger organizations, those that you'd expect are a little bit more protective of security and data, etc. Even those are welcoming and embracing cloud-based infrastructure and open source infrastructure, and you've got to be able to support that. Integrations with Jira, with Confluence, with the Atlassian toolset in general. Product evolution, because even from back when I was there, it's very difficult to see changes in the product via feature requests, via evolutions of improvements of changes, getting the product to work in a different way in line with market changes. It's been difficult to see that. It's a huge tanker ship, and making changes to the product isn't so easy because it has ramifications on a large client set, but also actually taking that from the client and feeding that all the way back to product management and getting the developers to hear about it is a very, very difficult task. And along the way, the data or the message or the feature request gets lost. So native support for the modern organization, the evolving security and tooling needs have not been there. Certainly not possible. It's been difficult to customize the capabilities, to account for the connections, building API bridges or building web interfaces or working with JSON to pass the data back and forth means that, when you move from one version to another, your integrations and your customizations break. So inevitably, professional services effort or work is required continually. So that's what we've seen. That's what our clients have told us about and the workshops that we've ran to help alleviate this pain has brought up these issues. So there's a need for change. There's a need to help galvanize teams to move and work in a different way. Now, Tony Robbins once said, change happens when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change. Getting people on board of the train of change requires cultural change. You've got to get people galvanized to actually make a change. It's a mindset change, and we can help influence this process by providing you with some confidence that your pain of change will be minimal, by giving you some training or some insight into how Zephyr Enterprise has the capabilities to serve your future needs from a testing perspective, but also, assisting and speaking with you about what you'd like to migrate over and how you'd like to, over a period of time, plan out that process of migrating off. So, it's really just providing you that confidence that, hey, the change is required, but we can give you the information and we can help train your respective teams. We certainly can't come into your organization and force people to have a mindset change or coach them into embracing change, but we can certainly provide you with the confidence that the pain of change will be minimal, and certainly you'll be able to get to where you want to be quite quickly and efficiently. So, as well as what I've mentioned in the previous slide, as well as what the features and capabilities that Zephyr Enterprise has, being able to evolve quite quickly and incorporate these changes on a monthly, if not monthly, on a 2 to 3 month basis, in line with our release cycle. As well as having that, we also some quite important things which you'll want to consider. Certain things like making sure that your data is retained. When you're inside the HP ALM environment, you've got all of this data that's grown with you over perhaps even the course of a decade. You don't want to certainly lose that. Some people are quite keen to stop right here and any new projects get provisioned in a new environment, but others want to retain the data either for auditing purposes or for the purposes of having that execution information available so that you can do some cross comparisons across releases, across projects, or even within a release just to see what your execution history is. So the importance of retaining your data is there. Along the way, as we consult you and show you and visualize the whole process of going into HP ALM, migrating your data over, working out a plan for which project should be targeted first and where the respective data should go. Should requirements data go directly into Jira rather than Zephyr? Should defects data go into Jira as well rather than Zephyr? And then we sync with Jira in a bidirectional fashion. Elements like this need to be discussed and then planned out. So we've got the training aspect where we provide your teams with enough confidence that Zephyr Enterprise has the capabilities to work with your testing needs, not only from a manual or semi-automated perspective, but also fully automated. So those that are potentially using, there might be UFT users, or there might be ones that take this opportunity to move to a different automation framework, like a robot framework or Selenium, whatever it might be. We'll provide you with the capabilities, the training to set up those automation runs so that in Vortex, an application within Zephyr Enterprise, you can still trigger these automation jobs. And those that want to work in UFT can still continue to work in UFT and trigger scripts directly from Zephyr Enterprise. So although you can obtain a list of features on our website and screenshots and capabilities, you can access our demos and how-to videos on YouTube. You can also access some of our recorded training material either directly through us, through my team, but also through YouTube as well. Although you can do that, we today are going to be focusing on a completely different demonstration. It's not going to be on the key capabilities of Zephyr Enterprise. You can do that already from the sources I've just mentioned. Today, we'll be focusing on a HP migration project, just to highlight and give you that confidence that it's pretty easy to do. We'll be taking a project from HP ALM. Surprisingly, it doesn't take very long. We'll be able to select the elements we want to migrate over. we'll click on a button within the HP migration tool, and it'll select all of your HP ALM information and pass it over to Zephyr Enterprise. And then we can jump into Zephyr Enterprise and show you that data migrated over. So with all of that time saved, you can focus on the other things that matter to you around change management, such as training. So this is HP ALM. We have a series of requirements here. I have some data within test plan and test lab as well. So we've got one there, a series of others in the webinar set. It's one of the problems with working inside IE. You've got a fixed zoom level, and you've got to check browser compatibilities and whatnot. It can be a pain. So we've got some test cases there, and we've got some test runs. We've got a whole host of data. As I said, requirements, we've got some test plan, test lab, and test run information to bring over. So this is our HP ALM environment. Now, what we'll do is provide you with a training session, a assisted migration, where client services individual and support team members will be on a call with you. We'll pick a project, and we'll go through the following. We'll spin up a jar file, a service, which you can access via your browser. And we'll start populating the HP ALM connectivity information. We'll provide the URL for Zephyr, so where you'd like your data to go in. I'll need to validate that these connections work. They do indeed. So I select my QC domain. And within there, we have a series of projects to pick from. So I'll go ahead and select one. Now it's found some associated interconnected information. So we've spent a lot of time, a huge amount of time, aligning every single field in Zephyr with ALM. And our development and support team members have been extremely diligent with checking data types and checking field lengths and checking the presence or absence of particular fields to go through all of the various different permutations to make sure that users are migrated over, releases are migrated over, the cycles and the test sets from ALM are switched over to cycles and phases in Zephyr. The project entities, as they're referred to in ALM, are migrated over to custom fields, both requirements and test case custom fields in Zephyr. Attachments at the step level, test case level, or requirement level, if we're bringing over requirements into Zephyr as opposed to taking them from HP ALM and putting them in Jira, will also be migrated over, and 3 have been found here. Tests are brought over, sub-referenced test cases or steps are brought over as well, along with any connected requirements. So the numbers are mentioned on the right-hand side. We hit start importing. Starts going through the process of taking your data from a HP ALM's database and pushing it over to Zephyr Enterprise. And once it's done with this, you'll see a confirmation screen appear. Now it's doing the attachments. We're almost towards the end. 18 seconds. Here we are, all done. So now we've been able to bring over the users, the releases, cycles and phases, test cases, test steps, requirements. The total time taken for migration is 49 seconds in total to bring that data. And I respect that it's a small data set, but you can aggregate this and you'll be able to ascertain the rough migration time for larger projects. The ones that we see are perhaps a tenfold magnitude of this size. Just going through this simple process, I'm sure you'll appreciate that the process is quite quick. So now if we go into the Zephyr Enterprise environment, go to my project list, and we'll see the domain and then the project listed here. So we jump into one of these releases. That's where we can see the requirements, the test cases, any execution information and defects. So in this one, it's quite simple. We've got some very basic requirements brought over. The subfolders have been created and the requirements are here, along with the map test cases as well. So it's respected the mappings. If we go into the test repository, we'll observe any structures recreated here, along with the test cases. So they've been brought over. In the test planning, I don't believe there are any test runs over here nor execution, but I do have another project, which I ran just earlier, which does have some data and test planning, and we've got some data and test execution as well. Open up the test set, and we can see the pass and fail statuses. Now, from an automation perspective, you can always utilize Vortex to work with Cucumber, Selenium, UFT runs, or eggplant runs. And that's just a simple a question of putting in your invocation script of what you'd like to trigger using UFT, where the results are going to be, selecting the machine on which the results are going to be placed, and wherever you're going to be triggering the script. And then you can run that job either individually or select multiple jobs and run them in bulk. There's even the option of working with a folder watcher, so it listens in on the results location and automatically brings the results over. So my tip here is get the UFT or any automation framework triggered via a CI engine like Jenkins, and then take the workspace location wherever the results are being published and create a folder watcher job for that. That way you can have all of your automation jobs either triggered via action or time coming into a particular location and then getting auto imported into Zephyr Enterprise, as you can see over here. So that's the very brief demonstration. I'd like to now kindly hand over back to Tom.
Yeah, thank you, Milan. And really what we wanted to focus on here was to let you witness in real time how easy it is to perform the migration of a project. That is something we hear a lot from our prospective clients as being a pain point. So we wanted to be front and center with it. As Milan said, there's other ways to learn about the core product. I did want to reiterate just a couple points that we made early on. Our goal overall, we set a company goal to lead all of our enterprise level clients to achieve what we call full continuous testing agility by the year 2020. So that means every single one of our enterprise clients, we're leading them towards the notion of being agile in nature, using our automation using our easy integration into automation frameworks, utilizing our DevOps dashboards to view all of their projects, and then start to utilize the functionality of the analytics that help tell our clients what they can test automatically versus manual. So I just wanted to reiterate that from a product standpoint, that's our big focus. And it also means leading the industry in scalability, security, and customer support, including 24/7 and name support options. All of this direction came directly from our clients in terms of informing our roadmap. And again, as Milan said, the easiest way to learn about Zephyr is to test drive it. And if you go to getzephyr.com, you'll see it's easy to sign up for a free trial of Zephyr product. We appreciate everyone's time today. Thank you.